You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host, John J. Tassoni Jr., with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. I have two young ladies. They were here last week, too, so we didn't change our clothes other than I took my jacket off. It's Rosie and Janelle from HHP, Horizon Healthcare Partners, and we're going to talk a little bit about today about a project that Rosie's in charge of. But before we get to that, I want you to pick up some Narcan. It saves lives. You can go to the drugstore. You can go to URI. It's free. F-R-E-E, free. But it saves lives. Rhode Island is down 7% on fatal overdoses. We need to get that number up even higher. So we're going to start the program by talking to Janelle about RAFA project.
RAFA project.
And what is the RAFA project?
So
That's not like a pet.
No,
Oh.
no. So the word RAFA actually means healing. So we played off that word. So the Rhode Island RAFA project is a project that uplifts women struggling with mental health, substance abuse, and trauma. We facilitate RAFA circles, which are essentially our healing circles. Circles in recovery homes, community spaces. We're just trying to heal women one day at a time.
Now, do you run the program?
I'm the program manager, yes,
Do you run the program?
pretty much.
You go into these facilities and talk to the ladies?
So yes, and I have a team. So there's a team. So it's me, and then I have Pam and Shirley as our part of our team. They're peer recovery specialists.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into the spaces. We run the groups.
Do you go into like recovery houses and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
All the women recovery houses, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get into more. So we go into recovery homes, community spaces, like we utilize the Pawtucket Library right now. We just got into the Resilience Hub, Onlyville Resilience Hub, so we're able to use that space. And we're looking for more community spaces to get into so we can service more women.
So do you also help women, battered women?
All women. So any type of trauma that they come into. So if they're dealing with domestic violence, if they're dealing with PTSD, any type of mental health disorders, and substance use.
I do a little bit of work with the Soldier in a House. Do you do some work with them?
So we've contacted them. We've been in connection with them, but hopefully we'll be able to collaborate soon.
Yeah, you know that organization does some amazing work.
Yeah, they're amazing.
They do God's work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there's so many women who are not respected by other women and also men.
Exactly.
You know, and it's heartbreaking when you see a family have to break up because someone is not respected, and you see these individuals who just leave with the clothes on their back,
Mm-hmm.
their pocketbook, and their children with no clothes. I don't know how those individuals who do that to these women can put their head on the pillow at night. I think it's very disrespectful. I think it's gross. You know, they wouldn't be doing that if there was a man, obviously, because you know what would happen.
Mm.
You know, they wouldn't be able to walk away. But, you know, the work that this program, and how long has this program been enacted?
So we're just finishing up our second year.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Is
about a year now.
how's it funded?
Through the Department of Health. The Department of Health, yeah.
Do you also get federal funding or just that one?
Nope, just that one
piece?
funding right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not in danger at all about losing funding
Well,
because
Certainly not.
you know, our DC friends.
yeah, so right now we're just happy to be able to do the work that we're doing. We are under the, our main priority is women of color, so we focus on the BIPOC community, but if that was to change because of the DC friends, then we just have to shift
They're
a little
really
bit.
not our friends.
Yeah, I know they're not, but we would have to shift. We would have to shift a little bit, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we just want to focus on the present and the things that we could do now.
So Janelle, how did you get involved in this?
So I've been in a community and an advocate for a very long time, very long time. So
Very
very long time.
Okay.
So harm reduction, domestic violence, homeless advocacy. I've been doing that, and then our executive director, Dee Dee Williams. Thankfully, she brought me on to manage this project, and so I've been able to do it.
What are the numbers, if you're able to share?
As far as what? So the
As far
numbers
as how
that
many
were
people that you have touched?
within. I don't know for sure the amount of.
Let's say the last
Yeah.
6 months.
So maybe like the last 6 months, we probably was able to service over 100 women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mostly all domestic violence type things?
Mostly all women struggling with substance use, mental health, and trauma. So it could be domestic violence, mainly women in recovery homes or transitioning out of recovery homes.
I'm familiar with the recovery houses, but I'm not familiar with the women's recovery houses because the question I'm going to ask you, are they able to take their children
No,
into
not all
those
of
recovery
them.
houses?
Not
Okay.
all of them, no.
But there are some that do.
I think there's a few, or maybe one or two that you're able to come into the program with your children. So like Starbirth and Amos House,
Right.
Women and Children.
Yeah,
They
Starbirth is one of my members, so.
Yeah, so we was able to run a RAFA curriculum over there as well.
Yeah,
So
it's got to be tough.
it's super tough.
for the women,
Yeah.
especially when you have to pass off your children in
Yeah.
order to get better.
Well, I think that's the reason why we was developed. So we was developed because they seen a lack,
need, the
the
need.
need, right? There was a gap in women successfully completing treatment or accessing treatment and services compared to men. And so the RAFA project was developed to try to bring healing and confidence and help the women build skills so that they can focus on themselves, so that they can be confident enough to access treatment and services and stay the course.
I think the issue of accessing help has to do with their children too.
Yeah,
You know, because no one wants to give up their child in order to get help.
right,
You know, so they bury it per se. You know,
exactly.
they don't have they don't come out front and tell you. You know,
Because they're scared that they're going to
Yes,
lose their
they're-
children, their
right.
house, their family,
right,
all of that.
right. How many groups do you run per week?
So it really depends, but for the most part, we run about three groups a week. And then we do some recruitment circles. So they're just like pop-up circles that we come and we'll have one community space that we're able to utilize. That's what we need. We need more community spaces. So
Yeah.
we need more agencies to be willing to host us to come in and run the circles.
Have you thought at all about doing some stuff with teens?
We want to. Right now, well, so our grant is specific to 21 to 60, women 21 to 60. But I know that if we're able to expand past, with our grant, that we'll be able to go for the youth.
All right,
Definitely.
we're going to take a break because I want to talk more about that because I was at a function on Saturday and some stuff came up and I want to talk to you about that. You're watching Recovery TV and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV and I'm your host, John Tassoni, with these two young ladies, Rosie and Janelle. We're talking about the RAPTA project and we're talking about these young ladies who are in this program. How long is there a time frame where they have to stay in this program?
So we've run a curriculum of 6 weeks. So we have a core 6-week session, and at the end of the 6 weeks, we do hair and makeup, and get the women to feel and look good. And the circles consist of discussions and activities. So we do like goal setting, vision boards. We do affirmations. We have like demonstrations on oils. And then the main part of it is just the discussions and building a community of like sisterhood and sharing.
Do they come back?
They always come back. And they always ask for more. So that's the best part of it.
Right.
You know?
And you know you hit a home run.
Yeah. And it feels good. Yeah.
I want to get back a little bit to the adolescent folks. There's a really big need for your organization to get into this adolescent programs.
I agree.
Instead of getting funding from Department of Health, you should look into the Rhode Island Foundation.
Yeah.
Rhode Island Foundation's got a lot of money right now looking for mental health and substance use and to get to the adolescent programs. Because right now, we have no, I underscore no, residential treatment for our adolescent kids, other than what they're building down in Exeter now, but it's only, I think, 21 beds. The boys and the rest of the girls who don't get into that facility are going out of state. And when you take these kids and you put them out of state, there's no way, no how that family intervention is there. Because a lot of these kids are coming from Woonsocket, Pawtucket, Providence, and Central Falls. And there's no way for those single parents that may not, or sometimes they do, have vehicles to drive to Pennsylvania, to drive to New Hampshire, to drive to Maine for family intervention. So those kids come back to the same environment, and there's nothing here for them. We have to nip it in the bud with residential adolescent treatment. Even outpatient adolescent treatment is not there. Because if we don't help these kids now, they're going to end up on Medicare, they're going to get sicker, and it's going to cost the state a ton of money. And I say this all the time to whoever I talk to. If we don't help I was in the training school, not as a patient, but I used to be a business agent down there. I used to talk to the kids all the time when I went there. If you don't straighten out here, you're going to go to the Cranston Hilton. And they look at me and say, "What's the Cranston Hilton, sir?" I said, "That's the ACI. So you need to fly straight. You need to fly straight. You need to stay out of trouble." But it's hard for those kids because they're in an environment where they're not accepted if they don't do what the rest of the kids are doing.
Right.
And causing trouble. So I'm pitching for you.
Right.
If I can help you with that, I'd be certainly love to do that because that's been a pet peeve of mine since 2001, since I got elected.
Right.
Because
I agree with
the
you.
kids need help, especially now, coming out of COVID in 2020. And the things that are happening in the schools, as I talked to both of you on break, last year I got a call for 5th graders with alcohol poisoning. So what does that do? Obviously somebody's not paying attention at home, they're leaving the liquor out, so these kids got it. Next thing you know, they're in trouble.
Right.
And it's happened. It happens all the time. We just don't get all the calls.
Right.
You know, but it happens all the time. People need to be responsible parents. There's no classes. Maybe we ought to start a parent class.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's just unbelievably.
I know, it's unfortunate.
It's
It is.
unfortunate, and I scratch my head all the time when I go out and I talk to folks about parenting, and you know, we have more single parents than ever before. We have 15,000 kids living with their grandparents.
I know.
That's a lot of kids. And those kids more than likely are going to get in trouble because their grandparents obviously are older, can't pay attention as when they were younger. You know, as you know, we're all, you know, we have children and we have grandchildren. Some of us have grandchildren. I know you don't.
Not yet.
But my point is that we need to be vigilant.
Yeah.
And we need to keep an eye on these kids because if not, you know, and I say this, and I was talking to a group of kids on Saturday about, I'm tired of going to wakes and funerals of kids, adolescents, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds who die of an overdose because they made a wrong choice. And again, the choices they make today affects them for the rest of their life.
Right.
Some of them, the choices that they make, they won't even get to the next step because it'll be fatal. And it happens all the time. So
It does.
I congratulate you on the work that you do in your organization. I think this is a great idea, but you need to expand it.
Right.
You have a lot of pressure on you after today.
I'm ready for it.
You need to get a meeting with Rhode Island Foundation, see what grants are available that can help you get to adolescence. That's where it's needed. You got to get them when they're young.
Yeah.
So when
I agree.
they grow up, they have something to think about.
Yeah.
They have something to think about. It doesn't matter if it's boys or girls.
Right.
It doesn't. The boys are just as devious as the girls.
Right.
You know, and it's crazy because, you know, as a young boy, thought I was invisible. I could do anything I want, nothing was going to happen to me. But as soon as I started getting into this business, I'm saying, oh boy, it's not good. But we didn't ever had all this stuff when I was a kid. You know, so it's, you know, the organization I think can survive. And you need to get, hopefully, a backer to make it even bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I really applaud HHP and you know, the group that you work with for getting out there and helping these kids, because a lot of them don't have direction. You're the only direction that they have. And even the young moms who are in recovery.
Right.
You are the only one that gives them some sort of direction, because they may be going home to a place where there is no direction. But we got to take another quick break, and I thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you.
And everything you continue to do. And hopefully I can help you in the future with ideas and stuff like that, because it's something that's very much needed. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, AdCare. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Rosie and Janelle are in the house. We're talking about RAFTA, and then the first program was 988, and you did it.
I did it.
You did it. What about training? You do some training?
Yeah, so we do Narcan training as well. So if anybody is looking for Narcan training, we come in. It doesn't matter if it's one person, 20 people, 50 people. We do the training, and we're able to give out the Narcan as well.
Right. In the Narcan, when you give it out, my understanding is that you have to give them a piece of paper they have to fill out.
Yeah.
So everybody knows where the Narcan is, just in case something happens. Yeah. But you know, I have to give your organization kudos for starting something like this, and I think maybe an offshoot of this too is for the boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've been thinking about that.
Yeah. No, no thinking.
Well, we had a
we gotta get your funding
circle.
to do it.
Exactly. We had a circle, and some guys that joined the circle, and it was like amazing. I'm like, yeah, we gotta get the circle for the
the other
guys.
thing too is maybe hopefully you can get into the training school and talk to those kids.
Oh yeah, I would love
you know,
that.
because that's something that's really very important to get to these kids at a young age in order to get them to, you know, follow a straight line instead of going off. And we have your website up on TV now, and I want to thank both of you for coming on today. And you know, it's really been an education for me too, because I don't know all the things that HHP does, but now that I know that you do what you do, and thank you for your service of 23 years in the military, and thank you for what you do for the kids. So, with that being said, folks, join me next week. Dawn Allen from Thrive will be on, talking about the new systems, CCBHCs. And again, if you see something, say something. HHP Partners, Get on that website, contact your legislator on 988, and help these two girls move this program into the goal line. We'll see you next week.